What is up, YouTube? Dottz Gaming here, and today I'm bringing you guys a guide on armor in the Elder Scrolls Online. So I've given you guys a guide on weapons and how to choose a proper weapon for what you're trying to do in game, and now I'm going to do the exact same thing for armor types in ESO. I'm going to go over the passives and the abilities that the armor types have to offer, and I'm also going to go over when in what situations would you use each individual type of armor. I am going to apologize for a bit of the echo. I did just move to a new apartment, and we still do need to get some furniture where I have my streaming and recording stuff set up, so it's going to be a little echoey for a bit, but once we get more furniture in there, that should hopefully go away. But moving into it, we're going to be covering, like I said, the different types of armor and what situation you are going to use them in. So we are going to start with the passives from the light armor, and then we'll hit the ability. So the first passive is Recovery, which increases your magical recovery by 4% for each piece of light armor equipped. We have Evocation, which reduces the magical cost of your abilities by 2% for each piece of light armor equipped. Spell Warding, which gives you spell resistance for each piece of light armor equipped. Prodigy, while wearing 5 or more pieces of light armor, you're going to increase your spell critical, and then while wearing 5 pieces of more of light armor, you gain spell penetration. The ability that you get, you have to be wearing 5 pieces of armor for, gives you a damage shield. One morph allows you to absorb more damage based on the number of light pieces worn, while the other morph gives you Magicka restoration back to your character when you absorb a spell. Now, in terms of medium armor, we have Dexterity, which increases your weapon critical for each piece of medium armor equipped. Windwalker, which increases your stamina recovery per medium armor equipped and reduces the stamina cost of your abilities per piece of medium armor equipped. We have Improved Sneak, which reduces the cost of sneak and reduces the size of the detection area while sneaking. You also have Agility, which requires 5 or more pieces of armor equipped, which increases your weapon damage. And then finally, we have Athletics, which increases your movement speed bonus from sprint and reduces the cost of roll dodge. All of this is per piece of medium armor equipped. Now, the skill Evasion, shroud yourself in a mist to gain major evasion, increasing your dodge chance for 17 seconds. One morph, which is called Shuffle, also removes snares, and the other morph gives you an increased duration on that dodge chance. Now, for heavy armor, we have Resolve, which increases your physical and spell resist per piece of heavy armor equipped. We have Constitution, which increases your health recovery, and you restore extra magic or stamina when you take damage for every piece of heavy armor equipped, which can occur every 4 seconds. That's Constitution. Juggernaut, which increases your maximum health. Revitalize, which increases the magic or stamina your heavy attacks restore by a certain amount. And then Rapid Mending, which increases your healing received. And now the skill, which is called Immovable, intensifies your physical presence to gain major resolve and major ward, increasing your physical and spell resistance for 17 seconds, and also grants immunity to knockback and disabling effects. Now, when you have the one morph, Immovable Brute, Break Free costs less, which is the CC break, and then the other morph, Unstoppable, increases the duration of the buff that you get on yourself. Now that we know what the different types of armor are and what their, what the passives are, in what situations am I going to use them? Now, you probably can get a rough idea from listening to me talk about all of the different passives that the armors have to offer, but sometimes newer players will be surprised on what the best situations are to actually use these armor types. So we have light armor you're going to want to use when you're either healing or you're playing a Magicka DPS in both PvP and PvE. Now, there's also healing for PvP and PvE. Light armor, if you use Magicka, you're going to want to use light armor. You're not going to really ever want to wear light armor as your main armor set when you are a stamina DPS or a tank. And now, I'm sure you guys can tell from me reading off the bonuses, when I say your main armor, I mean you're wearing 5 pieces of said armor. And as you know, you have 7 armor slots available here. So at least 5 of them need to be light armor in order for you to take advantage of all of the passives that light armor has to offer. So you will not get Prodigy or Concentration if you are not wearing 5 pieces of light armor. Now, when would you wear medium armor? Simply put, when you're playing a stamina DPS in PvP or PvE, this is going to give you the most damage from your medium armor. This is, medium armor is built for damage, as you can see, increased weapon damage, reduced cost of stuff, stamina abilities. It's going to allow you to maximize your DPS as a stamina DPS unit. Now, again, you need to make sure that if you do choose to wear medium armor, you are wearing 5 pieces of said armor. And if you do not, you will not get the bonus of agility, which you will not get the increased weapon damage. So there's really not much of a point to wear even medium armor. You're not going to want to wear 4 pieces. In terms of heavy armor, this is where things get a little more interesting. You can obviously wear heavy armor for tanking. You're going to get the most armor value from it. Light armor gives you the least amount of armor value. Medium armor gives you second most, and heavy gives you the most. So obviously, when you're a tank, you're going to want to wear heavy armor. And just simply based on the passives, you can tell increased physical and spell resist, increased health recovery, increased max health. You are healed more. You could maintain your resources a bit better. So heavy is a really good choice for tanks. But heavy also has its place in Magicka PvP and stamina PvP. A lot of times when people play player versus player on their Magicka or stamina based DPS characters, they don't want the squishiness that comes along with the extra damage. You can wear heavy armor, pull off respectable damage, and be tanky, thus allowing you to take on more opponents. But let's say you're wearing light armor, you're going to, yes, deal higher damage, but you're going to be squishier. So at least in PvP, you're going to rely more on shields. And for, a stamina user, you're going to rely more on dodge chance and not as much on just, raw stats, like raw defensive stats. So heavy armor is a good choice for those players who want to be a bit tankier in PvP. You can still deal great damage, like I said, with heavy armor. My Magicka DK PvP build is a heavy armor build, still deals great damage, but I could be doing more if I was in light armor. But I prefer to have the extra tankiness and survivability that comes along with heavy armor. Now, heavy armor will not do as much damage as light armor in a PvE situation, so if you're trying to be a main DPS, I'm sorry, you're not going to want to wear heavy armor. It's not going to be giving you the bonuses that you're looking for. It's just, it has its place for DPS and PvP, but in PvE, it really does not. Now, I also come across the question a lot, Dottz, why do all these guides recommend 5-1-1, wear 5 pieces, let's say light, 1 piece medium, 1 piece heavy? Why shouldn't I just wear 7 pieces of light to maximize my passive bonuses? Now, that is because you can join a guild called the Undaunted, and one of the greatest passives that you get from it is Undaunted Metal, which increases your maximum health, stamina, and magicka by 2% for each different type of armor you have equipped. So if you have 3 different types of armor, you get 6% bonus to all of your stats, which is fantastic. And it's a huge thing in a build. That's 6% more stats across the board. Not only that, let's say I am a light armor user, I can get access to the medium and heavy armor passives that don't require me wearing 5 pieces because I'm wearing 5 pieces of light. So I'll get, 2% more max health. I'll get some more health recovery and restore some magic or stamina when I take damage. I'll have a little bit more resistance. They're little bonuses, yeah, but the little bonuses can go a long way. Now, let's say I'm a light armor user and I'm like, I don't really need 6% max stats. 4% max stats would be fine because I don't like the medium armor passive. So you can instead wear 5 pieces of light and 2 pieces of heavy. You would have greater physical and spell resist. You'd have greater health recovery and restore more magic and stamina when you take damage. And you would also have more max health. So when it comes to making your build, when you're deciding on your last 2 armor pieces, you have to obviously decide on your main armor based on all the criteria I went on. But your secondary or tertiary armor choices, you need to base on how you value the max stats versus the passives. It's kind of like a little bit of a balance here. So to give you guys my general rule of thumb, what I basically do is, if I am playing a DPS, magic or stamina, so my main armor is light or medium, and I need more max stats, just more max stats across the board. I want to maximize my max stats. I will be going 5-1-1, especially if you play a high stat build like a Magicka build that runs really high max Magicka. This is going to be great for you running 5-1-1 because you're going to increase that already big pool by a percentage, and being that you're increasing a big number by a percentage, you're going to get more benefit than someone increasing a low number with a percentage. Now, do you need more health? If you're looking at your stats, you go, my stats are fine, but my health is too low. I would recommend in that case going 5-2. You are going to get more bang for your buck here. Maybe not just low health, but also just you want more survivability in general. You're going to get more resistances through not only just the armor in general, but through resolve. You're going to restore more resources, you're going to have more health recovery, and you're going to have greater, you're going to maintain the same amount of max health that you would with the Undaunted. So if you really want to increase your defensive capabilities, you can go 5-2 with 2 being heavy armor. Now, let's say you are using heavy in PvP as a Magicka or Stamina user. Should I go 5-1-1, 5 heavy, 1 medium, 1 light, or 5-2, 5 heavy and 2 light or 2 medium? Well, I would say you should judge it down on if your sustain is okay. That's basically what I kind of use as my general rule of thumb. At least as a light armor user. If I'm a light armor user and I feel that my sustain, or if I'm a heavy armor user, a heavy armor Magicka user, and I feel that my sustain is fine, I will go 5-1-1 because I'd get greater benefit out of those maximum stats. But if I'm like, my sustain's a little lackluster, I could use a little bit more recovery and cost reduction, go 5-2, go 5 heavy, 2 light, because you're going to get reduced Magicka cost and you're going to get more increased recovery. So that will help you sustain your resources better. Now, generally, if you're a Stam wearing heavy armor, you're going to want to go 2 into medium armor. I think that the medium armor bonuses that you get outweigh the stats. That is just my opinion. But when it comes to wearing 5 pieces of heavy and then wearing 1 medium, 1 light, or 2 light and 2 medium, that is a personal preference thing. There really is not a one size fits all on that one. And I'd say pretty much go with what you like. But in my opinion, if you're a heavy Magicka user, 5-1-1 is the way to go. Unless you need more sustain, then go 5-2. But if you're a medium, a Stamina user wearing heavy armor, in that case, I would wear 5 pieces of heavy, 2 pieces of medium, because I don't think that 1 piece of light and the max stats is worth what you're losing from your medium armor passives. Now, if you want to go for pure, unadulterated damage, that is when you go 7-0. Your max stats will suffer a bit. I would not really recommend this unless you want to play either a pure tank, a pure gank build on medium or light armor, maybe like a bomber for light armor, because you're going to get the most out of your passes, but losing out those max stats is going to make you worse off in a fight, in my opinion. So I would not, recommend going 7-0 unless you plan on going full damage, or maybe like if you're a Sork, you could probably get away with it a little bit because you have shields to kind of keep you a bit defended, so you won't be getting crit on as much. But even then, I still think having at least 1 piece of another armor type is really helpful for the max stats and for the dipping into these other armor passives. But if you're going for a pure build, yeah, you could probably get away with going 7-0, but I don't personally recommend it. And then another question that I get is, or another question that I see is, should I go 5-1-1 or 5-2 if I do not have Undaunted? Now, I do see a lot of people say no to this, and I'm not entirely sure why. I think you should. Even if you don't have Undaunted, absolutely go 5-1-1 or 5-2, because you'll level those skill lines. You won't have to go back later and grind the crap out of them as much as if you were wearing that gear the whole time you were leveling and and playing through the game. You'll have much less to grind through later on. And plus, let's say I'm a 5 light, 1 medium, 1 heavy, I'm still going to get access to these passives right here. Granted, am I going to have the max stats? No. But, at least I'll still have these passives to work with. It's not, without Undaunted, it is much better to go 7-0. But in my opinion, you're always going to be aiming to get these Undaunted passives. So because of that, you may as well get where the other armor weight that you plan on using, your secondary and tertiary armor weight, because you're going to level up those skill lines and have access to these passives. You won't be missing out on passives later on in the game. But that is pretty much it, guys. I hope that me kind of rambling and talking about the different armor weights and kind of my thought process and the decision making that goes into choosing your armor has helped you guys out. If you liked this video, if you found it helpful, I'd appreciate if you left a like on the video. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, by all means, leave a comment below and I will be sure to respond. Feels good to be back. I missed making videos, I missed streaming, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds for the channel. So thank you guys so much for stopping by and checking out my video. As always, I'm Dottz Gaming, and I'll see you all in the next one.